And in today's episode of Obvious Things Are Obvious, Tesla reportedly plans a Model Y revamp at their Shanghai factory. I'm shocked.
Model Y is another major story that we're tracking here this morning. The Model Y reportedly getting a makeover. The EV maker is building out a new version of its Model Y in its Shanghai plant, with production kicking off as soon as mid-2024, according to a new report from Bloomberg.
So, timing, who knows? But regarding a refresh of the Model Y, duh. If you watch regularly, you'll have heard me say this was coming as soon as we heard about the refreshed Model 3. And obviously, Shanghai is the first place. The refreshed Model 3 still hasn't been released in the United States yet. That will come. The refreshed Model Y, whenever it does take place in Shanghai, will eventually make its way to the United States as well. Obvious things are obvious. Unfortunately for Tesla, there's no magic upgrade all production lines instantaneously button, so they can't just instantaneously release new versions of vehicles at all factories at the same time. Just like when the gigacasting first started to appear in some of Tesla's vehicles, one portion of one vehicle in one factory first, and then slowly begins rolling out elsewhere. Make no mistake, whether or not the timing on this report is accurate, we'll see, but no doubt, a refresh Model Y will happen and it will first occur in Shanghai. And in my opinion, if we think about Tesla's product roadmap right now, let's recap exactly where we are. Cybertruck deliveries have commenced. Production's currently ramping up. Huge! In addition, the refreshed Model 3 is now pumping out of Shanghai, and it's available not just in China but other regions as well. Not yet the US. That will come. My best guess is probably within 6 months, likely less, the refreshed Model 3 becomes available in the United States, because it will then be locally produced in the Fremont factory, possibly also Austin. Then the refreshed Model Y begins production in Shanghai, eventually beginning deliveries into the same regions that the refreshed Model 3 is currently available. Months later, the same thing, refreshed Model Y will begin local production in the United States and also in Europe. And Tesla have already told us that the manufacturing systems for the next generation vehicle are close to finished. Likely will be finished, I don't know, maybe mid this year, as in 2024. Meaning, let's just call it over the next 24 months will be generous. We have refreshed Model 3, refreshed Model Y, Cybertruck ramping, and a next-gen vehicle. Never mind progress on the robot, autonomy, or so on. And you thought 2024 was going to be quiet.
Yahoo Finance senior reporter Pras Subramanian has some of the details on this one. Hey, Pras.
Hey, how you doing? So basically, we heard about this back in March, that they were planning to revamp the Model Y. It was called Project Juniper. Now, the Bloomberg report today does not mention that code name, but it seems as though this project is back on track for mid-2024. They had to stop the factory for a couple times to actually revamp it, right, to make this thing. But I'm kind of curious about why we haven't. So first of all, the Model 3 has been revamped, and it's out in China and other markets, but we haven't gotten that yet.
Do they have nice interiors, Pras? Are they going to get any better, higher quality? Because they're kind of dumpy.
Yeah. Dumpy? I mean,
If I didn't know any better, I might suggest that one of the anchors on Yahoo Finance, aptly named, has just been informed via the earpiece. Remember, Elon bad, Tesla bad. Say something bad, please. Dumpy interiors. Haters gonna hate.
I mean, I would say that they're definitely minimalist, right? That's probably the way we'd want to refer to it as. But they're doing stuff like adding ambient lighting.
That's kind of cool. That's cool. That's quick.
A lot of cars have ambient lighting now, right? Even like base cars have that. So it's kind of like maybe a little too late. Look, the Model Y is a great car. It's a best-selling car potentially in the world this year. Tesla needs to do these little slight tweaks to make it a bit more competitive with the space, right? So I see why they're doing this, but I'm kind of curious. When is that going to come to the U.S.? Because we haven't seen the updated Model 3 yet in the U.S.
And it's a touchscreen. It's a giant touchscreen on an interior.
Yeah, I will say I've driven the Model Y recently. I rented it from Hertz because they don't allow press to drive those cars, and I found it to be actually a very good product compared to the other EV offerings.
You know, that ambient lighting hits a little bit different, and the screen as well. I mean, you might as well feel like you're in Apple iTunes visualizer mode once you hit that ludicrous mode within that Tesla as well. Yeah. So let's not hate on the ambient lighting out here.
Poor Brian, Salty McSalt, getting smacked down gently by two of his fellow co-hosts. Called out for hating, in fact. Life's tough when you're a finance media NPC, and the wonderful narrative is that Elon bad, Tesla bad, the competition is coming, the competition pays our bills, advertising hundreds of millions of dollars on our network per year. Remember, Elon bad, Tesla bad, say something bad. By the way, let's just be clear here. Brian has just attempted to take a dump on the interior of the Model Y, literally calling it dumpy, and the interior of Tesla vehicles in general. What's the world's best-selling vehicle again? Oh, that's right, the Model Y. The narrative has progressed from Tesla's going bankrupt to the competition is coming to Elon bad, Twitter overhang, and now all they can do is complain about the supposedly dumpy interiors of Tesla vehicles, including the world's best-selling vehicle. I guess consumers who vote with their dollars have not got the memo about Tesla's dumpy interiors.
Okay, fine. Bullish on ambient light, but Praz, also BYD out with some news today. And really, it's hard to imagine you're on a highway, high-speed highway, and you're going to see driverless cars, but that time may be now.
Yeah, I mean, in BYD in particular as well, with Tesla, they're working on their self-driving software there. But you mentioned BYD, they're probably going to pass Tesla in all electric car sales for the first time ever. Wow. Tesla probably going to deliver around 480,000 this quarter. The thinking is that BYD might make around 500,000 this quarter, passing for the first time, not for the year, but for the quarter. Kind of a big deal there because, in China, that's a huge market for them. And they sell 6 cars below the cost of a Model 3 right now in China. They really have cornered the market on that cheaper entry-level EVs. Are we going to see these cars in the U.S.? That's the next question.
And the answer is many of them, yes. I have a question. Has anyone seen the crash test results for the BYD vehicles? I'm not hating here, but it is important to understand that BYD is not going after the same market as Tesla. That's not to say that BYD doesn't make some compelling vehicles and sell them for competitive prices. They do, and as a result, they make razor-thin profit margins. But let's just call a spade a spade. BYD, in essence, is going for and will be known as the cheap Chinese Tesla. And I mean that quite literally. Can't afford a Tesla, don't quite want the same tech, don't care as much about safety, performance, buy the BYD instead. Things are going to get very interesting, however, with Tesla's next generation vehicle, whose price point will be extremely competitive with a lot of BYD's more budget-focused vehicles. And from BYD to a DMF, we have everybody's favorite Tesla perma-bear, Craig Erwinkle. I think that's his name. Tesla is egregiously overvalued. Going to see a tough 2024, apparently. Let's see what this man has to say.
One of the names that helped power the gains we saw in the S&P today, Tesla, that stock leading the average up 2% today on a report that electric vehicle company is planning to revamp its Model Y version from its Shanghai plant starting in the middle of 2024. Let's bring in Roth Capital senior research analyst Craig Irwin. Craig, it's great to have you on. You've been bearish on Tesla for like ever. I mean, I feel like it's been years that I've spoken to and you've been bearish on Tesla, and yet the stock has performed really well despite whatever you want to say about the fundamentals. Why are you still bearish here?
So I'm bearish because I see it as egregiously overvalued, right? We look at Toyota as a benchmark.
Hold up. Why are we doing this, Craig? Why are we looking at Toyota as a benchmark? A company that isn't growing, that has publicly, repeatedly self-immolated, claiming that it's not time yet for electric vehicles, and simultaneously, and I can't believe I'm saying this, it's actually real, are spreading themselves so thin it's embarrassing, pursuing 4 independent forms of propulsion, claiming that that's the right move because consumers want choices. Let's count. They have the 4-wheeled fossil, the internal combustion engine, which they are still pursuing, and which they claim will be a significant percentage of all of their vehicles sold in 2030 and beyond. And I mean the majority. So still continuing to double down on the internal combustion engine. And, wait for it, ready? Also, the internal combustion engine with a vibrator-sized battery inside it, also known as a fake electric vehicle, also known as a hybrid, also known as an engineering clusterfuck, also known as a fossil on wheels as well. So they're betting big on 2 dinosaurs, wait for it, and hydrogen, that's right. A completely independent form of propulsion. Makes absolutely no sense until humanity has reached an era of absolute hyperabundance when it comes to energy. We've built out storage, solar, wind, and we have so much energy we do not know what to do with it all. Then it may make sense to engage in the lossy process of creating hydrogen for very, very, very uncommon uses, such as gigantic ships, and also pursuing electric vehicles. If we assume and even focus on each of these forms of propulsion, only 1/4 of Toyota's energies and efforts are focused on the only form of vehicle they'll be selling by the end of this decade if they're still in business. In other words, 3/4 of Toyota's business is going to evaporate between now and the end of the decade. That's not true of Tesla. Furthermore, Toyota has major structural challenges, an unhelpful culture, which, don't get me wrong, the Toyota way, so to speak, was very effective in the preceding decades. The company is now getting disrupted by new technology, and they're massively fumbling the football. Toyota's profit per vehicle sold versus Tesla is laughably low. The words Toyota and software don't mix. Toyota's recently had a massive leadership change, too little too late. And in my best guess, I expect that Toyota annual vehicle sales, in the best case, will collapse from approximately 10 million units per year in a good year, roughly now, to, if they're lucky, maybe $2 million per year by the end of this decade if they're still in business. Now, I could be wrong, but when I'm not, how arrogant, but honest. That means that Toyota as a company is going to see a collapse in revenue, in profits, in volumes. Pick your metric, a collapse at the same time that a company like Tesla sees massive growth, massive profitability. What Craig is doing here, in essence, is attempting to compare a horse and buggy business with an automobile business 100 years ago. This is not an apples to apples comparison. This is an apple to a steaming turd comparison at best. The question is Craig actually this dumb? Hard to know. Or is he, for whatever reason, attempting to make bearish points that he knows himself are absolutely ludicrous?
Right, Toyota's the world's largest auto producer, about 9 million cars a year. There's nothing Tesla has that Toyota does not.
Okay, see, if Craig Irwin had any credibility whatsoever, it's gone. Toyota themselves, having recently torn down a Model Y, by the way, talk about the level of brain damage that it's taken that long, were stunned and literally called the Model Y, literally called it a work of art. Now, why would a company that has everything that Tesla has tear down one of Tesla's vehicles and then call Tesla's vehicle a work of art? Good question, isn't it? Now, Craig obviously can't possibly believe what he's saying. He can't be that dumb. I mean, the guy can feed and clothe himself, seemingly, quite well on the former. So he's already passed the threshold for understanding that what he said is nonsensical. So why is Craig saying this? Anyone got any ideas? Because it can't be because he believes it, surely.
Why should it trade at a large multiple to Toyota? If it's going to sell a fraction of the vehicles, maybe the technology premium, the leadership in EVs, give it a similar valuation. And that's really what we do with our $85 price target. So I'm not celebrated, though. I do need to clarify that. There are levers that they can pull, specifically the mini car in India. We've been waiting for them on both of these really since 2019. Back actually when we were last, I believe, really bullish on the stock. But from here, I see this one as a slow drip over the next couple of years.
Okay. So I guess what do you...
I am resisting the urge to somehow make a joke about Craig pulling his own lever in a slow drip, but I won't go there. I really do struggle to understand why Craig says these things. He can't possibly believe what he's saying. I'm like, surely not. Has anyone seen Toyota's FSD beta? No. Self-driving chip? No. AI training chip? No. Tesla's profit per vehicle sold versus Tesla? Not even close. What's the guy talking about? I just don't understand why he says these things. Does anyone have any ideas? Who's paying? I mean, why does he say these things?
What do you make then of the reports then today about a revamp of its most popular model in one of its largest markets, where I guess from which its factory sends out and exports the most EVs to different parts of the world?
Yeah, no, the Shanghai facility is the most important facility for Tesla. So it's necessary. All of their models are long in the tooth. People have been asking for updates of the S, the X, the 3 for years, and the Y, is losing market share in China. It's no longer the leading EV in China.
Oh my God. Why are we drilling down to a region? Again, Model Y, literally the world's best-selling vehicle. The world's best-selling vehicle. If we're talking about a region any smaller than the entire planet, why? Oh, I know why. To paint a negative narrative where there is none. Can anyone remind me, what are Tesla's quarter-over-quarter sales increase and or declines in Timbuktu and bumfuck nowhere? I'd love to know. Maybe that can help Craig with his bearish narrative even further.
So I think it's overdue, right? Some of these other updates are many years overdue. Everybody was looking forward to a new Roadster. Everybody's looking forward to the Cybertruck. Finally, we got a couple, right? They're late. Competition's real. Competition in China is overtaking them. And
now, maybe I'm imagining things, but did you guys notice the inflection in Craig's voice then? I don't know. It might just be his extremely low testosterone. By the way, Craig, get it checked out. Obvious signs there. But when he claims that the competition in China is overtaking Tesla, he says that as if it's a question. Listen again to how he said this.
They're late. Competition's real. Competition in China is overtaking them. And
well, what do you guys think? In my opinion, doesn't sound convinced.
And it's going to be a tough 2024 for Tesla.
Okay. I mean, expanding even beyond Tesla on a day where we are also having reports that a Chinese EV maker, BYD, may be poised as soon as this quarter to overtake Tesla as the top EV maker and seller globally. What are your expectations for the EV market in 2024 when you do have a player in China that is aggressively subsidizing and making these new cars and exporting them to different parts of the world? And you do have Europe and the U.S. considering tariffs, and it sort of speaks to the geopolitical landscape as we talk about energy transformation.
You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. So, Tesla's looking at a 4% growth rate for revenue for the fourth quarter. That's due to pricing pressure. How on earth are we going to see acceleration to 13% in the first quarter? EVs are real. They're here. They're inevitable. Thank you, Elon, right? I'm a big fan of EVs. Tesla's facing real competition during a period of economic weakness.
Could somebody let me know in the comments below what, who, when, where, how is this competition? This real competition? Genuine question. Keeping in mind that Craig is an analyst, we are talking about this from an investment point of view. In other words, you need to be able to make money selling these things in the same marketplace as Tesla. So if it costs you $100,000 to make a vehicle and you're selling it for $50,000 and losing $50,000 per vehicle sold, even if you might be close to Tesla or even, in fact, exceed Tesla on some of the specs, that's not competition because the company producing this supposed competitor will go bankrupt. In order to compete, you need a fighting chance. So please let me know in the comments below. Where is this so-called competition?
So they're going to have more price cuts, and they're going to be more companies like BYD with super credible vehicles out there on the road. So, EVs overall, I see as inevitable. Yes, this is going to be a painful year as far as price cuts and maybe growth not as strong as people would like to see in the market. But they're inevitable. They're here for the long haul. And I think, the price cuts that we see over the course of 2024 are going to be really what creates the market. When EVs are fundamentally cheaper than ICE vehicles, they're going to be really compelling for consumers, and they're going to be a much larger mix of the overall sales mix.
Hold up. Dude says EVs are inevitable, here to stay, blah, blah, blah. Notes accurately that they are much cheaper overall versus an ICE vehicle. Yet in the same segment moments ago, he's attempting to draw the comparison between Toyota, who make roughly 9 million of the more expensive inferior vehicles that aren't here to stay, are going away, are being disrupted, and Tesla. Which again leads me to the question, why is it that Craig says the things that he says? Surely he ain't that dumb. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. It's an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. Certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point. It's something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1 is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it. You'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, Snake Oil Salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro. When I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link at the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links at the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.